The Archdiocese of Chicago is a vibrant and diverse faith community. We celebrate our faith through worship, evangelization, and reaching out to the needy. Welcome to Catholic Chicago.
Good morning and welcome to the Voice of Charity. I'm Katie Bredemann, and we thank all of you who are joining us today on WNDZ 750 AM here in Chicago, and all who are watching our live stream on YouTube and Facebook at Catholic Chicago. We're grateful that you're spending some of your Tuesday morning with us. Last week here on The Voice of Charity, we talked about the ecosystem of maternal support that exists at Catholic Charities to help mothers in need. This ecosystem is described in fascinating detail in the most recent issue of Spirit magazine. For those who may not have seen this issue yet, we invite you to go to CatholicCharities.net/learn-more, and you'll see Spirit listed right there. And if you click on that and click on the Spring 2024 issue, you can download it and read more about what I'm talking about. It really is a fascinating issue. Today, we are so fortunate to have with us two ladies who help provide education and empowerment and nutrition and support services to single parents and their children as they work toward greater self-sufficiency. Kathy White is the site director for Catholic Charities Women, Infant, and Children's store in the Roseland neighborhood in Chicago. As you know, that Women, Infant, and Children, those 14 stores are referred to as our WIC food centers. Also, Jessica Martinez is a WIC nutrition service dietitian, and she serves women and families who shop at all 14 of these WIC stores. Welcome, Kathy and Jessica. Thank you so much for being with us this morning. Can we ask you to each start us off by sharing with our audience an overview of the work that you do with Catholic Charities every day? Kathy, may we start with you?
Yes. I implement procedures that will improve day-to-day operation. I ensure the work environment is safe for staff and clients. I oversee a team of 10 employees. I ensure each of them meet the goals set by the Catholic Charities standards.
It's so impressive, all that you accomplish every day, because this WIC network is a wonderful system for women to do their shopping, but it also, each store is very individualized. So I give you so much credit for keeping that going even during COVID. It was really quite remarkable. How about you, Jessica? Can you share a little bit about your work as a dietitian?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm actually the director of nutrition services for WIC Grocery, and I have a team of nutrition associates. They are our team that are on the floor every day supporting our clients, giving them nutrition education, recipes, cooking tips, shopping support. So that's kind of our primary piece. And then additionally, run all of the curriculum and special initiatives around nutrition. So that looks like in-person cooking classes, which we're actually doing right now. And then we have virtual cooking classes as well later in the summer. And then every year we have a farmers market initiative that we partner with the state for. So managing those initiatives as well. And our goal in the future is to be able to offer even more in-person services.
And isn't it a big part of that, Jessica, is to help these families build healthy nutrition habits from when the children are very young, right?
Absolutely. I think that my personal philosophy really aligns with WIC and Catholic Charities philosophy, which is building up families to be able to make their own choices, positive choices, nutritious choices around food, and feeling really confident about it. So that's our primary goal, is to build confidence in families to make healthy choices and being able to feed their family in a way that feels good to them.
Well, when you describe what you do each day, ladies, it just is wonderful teamwork. It's wonderful collaboration to help these young families. You know, Kathy, last year, more than 59,200 women and caregivers were served at Catholic Charities' 14 WIC food centers. Can you remind our audience how the WIC program works?
Yes. The program is an income-based. When a mom finds out she's pregnant, she becomes eligible for the WIC program. she can receive an application from the WIC grocery store or the WIC clinic, but she has to have she has to meet the following criteria. One is proof of income, and that could be a check stub, link card, proof of birth of the new infant, proof of pregnancy, proof of address. Then she has to have a picture ID, and then the child has to have an appointment, the birth certificate of the child, and physical blood work from the doctor's office.
Well,
Those items are brought to the WIC clinic for the mom to receive the benefits. Mom can receive the benefits months after the birth, 6 months after the birth of the child. And the child can receive the benefits up to the age of 5.
it's wonderful. The structure to it is so simple, but it's also really in tune to the needs of these young mothers. I know that in the state of Illinois, the formula that was available in the WIC food centers made the WIC food centers become one of the largest providers of formula in the state. We have such wonderful relationships with external partners that even when the supply was low in other vendors, the WIC food centers had that supply of formula that was really critical during COVID, right, Kathy?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Especially not only in Chicago, but in Illinois, it was so hard for them to get. They were driving from Rockford all over just to come and get that child some milk. And we were more than happy to help them get that milk for that child. I mean, we have to feed the kids. So
well, it's a credit to you and all your colleagues of how well you keep the stores operating, and it's also a credit to the program that I know that it started in the 1990s, and so that WIC Food Center has been a wonderful anchor program in the city of Chicago for these families in need. Jessica, I know we talked about healthy habits for these young children and for the mothers as well as they're serving food to their children. Can you talk about the ways you communicate with them to tell them about good nutritional habits and new recipes? I know, as you said, you've got cooking demonstrations. It's quite wonderful. Can you talk about the communication piece of that?
Yeah, of course. So communication is primarily through social media. So I would say that is when we're connecting with clients when they're not in the store, social media is that primary source where we're sharing recipes, we're sharing information, we're sharing tips, we're also sharing program updates. And then the other kind of source of communication is really just on the floor. I mentioned that we have those nutrition associates, and the really special thing about this is that while they're doing their shopping, they get that nutrition education. And you think about it, right? You might hear something, but then when you go shopping, it's not going to be at the front of your mind. And so with having the direct communication as they're shopping, it's like, oh, that's something new to me, and I can actually implement it right now while I'm shopping. And so I would say those are our two main sources. So social media, but then also just direct communication while they're shopping.
And I know that Catholic Charities is hoping to elevate that communication to mobile text. Am I right?
Oh, absolutely. So that's kind of our next thing in the pipeline is having that mobile truck. And then that way we can really meet them where they are. And that's something that right now is obviously not possible. And we're excited to be able to explore that and see how it positively impacts families.
Yes, we did have Shay Dixon from the WIC program on the show several weeks ago, and she was talking about those wonderful new initiatives for 2024, that there is going to be a mobile food truck in the Austin and Garfield neighborhoods, and then also there's going to be a mom's hub within each of the 14 WIC food stores. So everybody should keep close to CatholicCharities.net and learn more about these great initiatives that are expanding the WIC program. Can I ask you both to talk a little bit more in detail about the expectant moms that you work with? What percentage of the moms that you work with are expectant moms, and what are the key components of each of your programs that you discuss with these expectant moms? Kathy, can I start with you?
Yes. I think that percentage is very low. I would get a good 20%, because most of the moms that come in the store, their kids are here, and they're coming to get that baby formula for that child. Um, and we try to, at the WIC Food Center, we try to encourage that parent to nurture that child. And that will be the best way that we know, breastfeeding, because it's so vital that the mom breastfeed these days because of the nutrition that that child is going to get. And so that is a high point for us to encourage that mom to breastfeed.
That makes a lot of sense. That's the most logical thing for them to learn while they're still expecting. Empowering them to be great stewards of that and great parents right from the beginning by doing that nursing. How about you, Jessica? What types of issues do you talk with expectant moms about?
I think the biggest thing that we focus on for nutrition is just ensuring that they are eating adequately, and also eating a variety of things. Because at the end of the day, there's specific choices. Yes, there's an impact, but really the variety is most important. And then making sure that they're having enough energy, because sometimes, especially in pregnancy, they get so wrapped up in just making sure that they're going to all their appointments, doing everything that they need to do, and maybe they're not eating enough. But at the end of the day, they need those building blocks, those nutrition building blocks, to have a healthy pregnancy. And so that's our main focus.
I also know that a big part of the work of nutrition services is to help people become more aware of all of the sugars that are in foods, and the fact that processed foods often have a lot of ingredients that can sometimes be harmful for nutrition. Are those also two components that you try to help educate these expectant moms about, Jessica?
So honestly, I think that we go for a more holistic approach, meaning like we don't necessarily highlight our education on what they should remove or limit in their diet, but rather what they should add or include, because we know that that language talking about what you should add is more positive, and they're much more likely to do that versus if we say, hey, don't eat this, don't eat that. So we try to encourage whole foods, less processed foods, giving them lots of recipes that include those things. And then we hope that that process of replacement kind of happens naturally.
That makes a lot of sense. And as we talked about at the top of the show, this issue of Spirit Magazine, it's fresh off the presses. And we talk about how we go into the entire description of the ecosystem of maternal support programs that Catholic Charities have. And a lot of the discussion is focused too on how really difficult it is to raise children alone as single parents. I'm wondering if I could ask each of you to talk a little bit about your work in terms of education and empowerment. Those are two key components of this ecosystem, and we're just wondering if you could expand a little bit on how your work each day helps educate and empowers young moms. Kathy, can I start with you again?
Yes. When moms enter the WIC grocery store, they are filled with being in a safe environment. Questions I ask and questions I answer. And so we encourage the mom to get all of their items in which they are entitled to. And we say that because it's very critical for the mom and as well as the baby. They both need all of their nutritionists and all of their good food for each other. We try to educate and empowerment them by letting them know the importance to maintain good, healthy food for them both.
That makes a lot of sense. And how about you, Jessica? Anything to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, definitely piggybacking off of everything that Kathy said, because absolutely that's our primary piece. And then I think the other piece that our nutrition services adds to that is the tools. So really ensuring that they have the tools to prepare these foods, whether that be cooking tips, whether that be the recipes, whether that's the hands-on experience in our cooking classes, making sure that they have those tools and have the confidence to be able to not only redeem those products, but bring it home and prepare it for their family.
This is wonderful advice you're sharing today as we dive a little bit deeper into the ecosystem of maternal support that exists for Catholic Charities, programs, and services in support of our mothers in need. If you'll both please bear with us, we'll take a break here on the Voice of Charity. And when we return, we're going to continue this wonderful conversation with Kathy White and Jessica Martinez. Please stay tuned.
Community is core to Catholic Charities' founding mission. For more than 100 years, we have met people and families where they are, serving anyone in need, regardless of their faith, gender, race, or ethnicity. As our world absorbs the economic, political, and social aftershocks of the pandemic, 50% or more of the 6 million people living in Cook and Lake counties have little or no savings. They are a paycheck away from zero. We are deeply grateful to everyone in the Catholic Charities community who partners with us to alleviate the suffering of the people we serve and offer them a better path forward. We are witnessing a message of mercy and hope to a world very much in need. Learn more at CatholicCharities.net.
I can't imagine myself going into any other school.
Our school fosters growth by being a backbone to our family.
My kids are incredibly well-rounded. I see a lot of kindness in them on a daily basis.
One of the things I think Catholic schools do well is personalize the learning experience. You can hear joy in the classrooms.
I feel that I'm happy that I am in this kind of school.
Our school communities provide students with academic excellence and character education in a supportive and stable learning environment. Come see for yourself. Visit archchicago.org/findaschool.
I am a seminarian.
The Church needs compassionate and well-trained priests to help guide each of us through life.
What inspires me, what draws me always to the priesthood is continue to see priests be a beacon of hope for other people.
You can play a part in the education of these young men as they prepare for a life of service to others.
I want to be that beacon of hope too, and it sets my heart on fire.
To support our seminarians, make your gift at archchicago.org/seminarian fund or call 312-534-7959.
Welcome back to the Voice of Charity. I'm Katie Bredemann, and we're continuing our two-part series today on the ecosystem of maternal support that is offered through Catholic Charities programs and services for mothers in need. With me today is Kathy White, who is Site Director for Catholic Charities Women, Infant, and Children's Store in the Roseland neighborhood in Chicago, and Jessica Martinez, who is the Director of Nutrition Services for Catholic Charities in these WIC food centers. You know, ladies, before the break, we were talking about the whole idea of education and empowerment, and how your work is not only building confidence in these young mothers, but really helping them achieve stability in their lives. I'm wondering if you could tell us a little bit about some of the external partners that you work with to achieve the goals of the WIC food centers and each of your departments specifically. Kathy, can we start with you, those external partners?
Yes, so there are several churches in this community, in this area. One of them being New Development Church, and they provide diapers for the moms. And so when the mom come in and, they're in a, frantic kind of situation and they are in need. And so we try to help in any way we can. And so we send them over there to their program. And also there are several other churches in the neighborhood that provides hot meals and boxes of food. And so we have all that information here at this WIC Center. And when they come in and they tell us their needs, we are able to give them that information that we have.
And that's a key issue that you brought up, Kathy, because I know that federal benefits, when women, low-income women are looking for assistance from the federal government, that often covers grocery, right, the WIC food items, and it covers formula, but it doesn't cover diapers. And so that's one increasing problem with young families across the nation. We have a diaper depot at Catholic Charities that has gotten super busy in the last couple years. So that's wonderful that you have an external partner to support that. How about you, Jessica? Any external partners that you'd like to give a shout out here to?
Absolutely. So we have many partnerships, but our primary partnerships for nutrition services is Illinois Extension. So through the university, they run our virtual cooking school and have ran that cooking school for, I want to say like upwards of 15 years, so a very long time. And then we also have a partnership with UIC, Chicago Partnership for Health Promotion, and they provide our in-person cooking classes. And so that's actually a new partnership that we've been doing just for the past 2 years, but plan on continuing. And so those are our primary partners, and they've been an incredible support in being able to give really amazing experiences to our moms.
Well, and I know that you have spent a lot of time and effort to make those cooking classes virtual, right? It might have been kind of forced upon you during COVID, but you've really found that a lot of women tune in from their homes. And talk a little bit about those cooking classes. How often are they, and what kind of recipes do you offer?
Yeah, so moved virtual with the pandemic. Before it was in person, but they found that people really enjoyed the virtual aspect because they're in the comfort of their own home and they really get to engage the whole family, where before maybe it was just one family member. Now we have grandparents and all of the kids and sometimes aunts and uncles, and they're all in the kitchen together preparing this food, which is just amazing. And frequency for the virtual cooking classes is it's a 2-week session and they attend 3 classes each week. WIC provides all of the recipe ingredients, so literally down to spices. We provide everything so that there's no barriers. And we do the 2-week cycle 4 different times. So there's 4 opportunities to join. And then for our in-person classes, that is a cycle of 8 classes that happens once a week. So we do both of those initiatives once a year right now.
But when you think about education and empowerment and nutrition and support, you know, those classes really are empowering the whole family, right, to embrace healthy eating habits and learn to be good cook themselves, right, Jessica?
Absolutely. And I love the family aspect because at the end of the day, we want people to really enjoy food and enjoy having food together, right? We are social creatures and we want to connect with our families and loved ones. And the primary way we do that is with food. So I think it's amazing that we have an avenue at WIC Grocery to support families and doing that more often.
Really well said. Can I ask you each to please share a story or two about mothers that you've met who have been really finding support and stability from this ecosystem of maternal support at Catholic Charities? Kathy, can I start with you?
Yes. So I had a mother who faced multiple complications during her pregnancy. The woman started to take advantage of various programs offered by the Catholic Charities. I advised her of the eating healthy for herself and her baby. Made sure she came into her appointments and locations and the center, and gave her tips on the different things and different recipes that will help her and her child. As a result, the mom had a healthy delivery, and she continued to be in the WIC program, making herself healthy and the baby healthy.
That's a great story to share. And as you said, it's so important that these young moms take care of themselves, right? Not just their children, right, Kathy?
Yes. It starts with the mom.
It absolutely does. And Jessica, how about any stories for you to share as well?
Yeah, actually very recently. So we started our in-person cooking school about 7 weeks ago now. So it's been a while. And we have several moms that come every single week. And what I love is they've created a community. And so we have one mom there that's currently pregnant and has a small young child, and she is really struggling this pregnancy, mostly financially and limited support from home. So she has been able to find out about amazing services that we have at that location. Has connected with the doula program, has been able to go to baby showers, and she even was able to get a crib for her current toddler. And like I said, not only just the resources, but now they've built a community where they come in, they know each other, they're sharing even more resources while they're in the class together, and they leave and stay connected. So I think that she is not only just gaining the not necessarily financial support, but resource support from Catholic Charities. But then she's also building a community outside of Catholic Charities, but we were able to bring them together. So that is something that happened very recently. And every time I see them, I just am so happy to be a part of this, but just my heart is so warmed in seeing them interact because we know that that community is so important.
That actually was going to be my next question for you. You know, you both give yourselves so genuinely to your work every day. What is the best part of your job, Kathy? Can I ask you?
I think the satisfaction of knowing that not only is the mom is getting healthy food, but also that the child is getting healthy food. And at the end of the day, when we can't help them, we go 9,000 miles to find out what can we do to help them. So that is a joyful feeling for me.
Beautifully said. And anything to add to that, Jessica?
Yeah, I think that seeing light bulbs go off like in the moment for moms is the biggest piece for me. Whether it's them trying a new food, we just did a sweet potato and black bean quesadilla, and they were like, sweet potatoes on a quesadilla? I'm never going to try that in my life, but they do. And they're like, this is amazing. This is so good. And we're going to make this at home and we're going to share it with our families. And then having the kids there with them and the kids try it. And the kid, we had a 2-year-old little girl and she was like, this is delicious. And that is just, I mean, that's the whole reason we do it, right? We don't just give this information to give it. We want them to utilize it and change their habits. And so when you see it in real time, it's just so full circle and incredibly fulfilling.
So rewarding. And so just finally, can I ask you ladies, if anyone in our audience, thinks that they or someone they know might benefit from this ecosystem of maternal support that Catholic Charities offers, what would you say to them? Kathy, can you please lead us off?
Yes. The WIC program serves with love and grace. And that's just truly how I feel. It makes every day, it makes everything feel so important. Makes all of the, whoever comes in, whoever is around, we make them try to feel so important, and we gather their needs and the child needs, and we make something happen, whatever it is that their needs are. And so it provides a nutrition, healthy food for the child and the mom, and we ensure good customer service. So with all of that being said, I think this is the place where we all should be. If there's a child involved that is of age to get the WIC food, please bring them, please come, please join us.
Wonderfully said. And Jessica, anything to add to that?
Yeah, I think Kathy said it beautifully. And I think the only thing I would add is, I think there's a stigma around WIC, and that's so unfortunate because it's so beneficial for those that are eligible. So if you're eligible, trying to really tap in and apply. And then once you're on WIC, WIC Grocery is a really safe space where we want you to be heard and seen. And that's a different experience for a lot of moms. So I really hope that in the future, especially if they're on WIC, they consider coming to us and really experience the difference in our centers.
And anyone in our audience who is interested in learning more about WIC can go to gethelp@catholiccharities.net. Please send an email, again, to gethelp@catholiccharities.net or call 312-655-7700. And our call center will also put you in touch with these ladies and their colleagues. Jessica and Kathy, it's been such a pleasure having you on the show today. We're so grateful for all that you do for mothers in crisis and all that you do for inspiring us all with the work of Catholic Charities. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For having us.
And also anybody who's interested in contributing to the work of Kathy and Jessica, our Mother's Day appeal continues, and we'd be so grateful for your support. Please also visit CatholicCharities.net and donate. And we'd be so grateful for your encouragement and support of this and so many programs for women and children. And we invite all of you back again next week for another edition of The Voice of Charity. For now, this is Katie Bredemann, and we thank you so much for tuning in and believing in the mission of Catholic Charities.